Hi everyone, it's Jenny with Joey and Jenny's Little Yellow House, and you can find us on YouTube at Joey143Jenny. Thank you for all the subscribers and friends and new friends that are sharing our YouTube. We really appreciate that. And today I am going to be doing that calendar collage. And so you may remember that I took a 2022 calendar that I had, and I'm just blocking out the different dates with pictures. Some of them are from wrapping paper, magazines, catalogs, just different things. And so I have started this one with, I don't know where I got these pictures, out of a magazine, or I think I told you we get a magazine, so to speak, from our, let's see, electric company, and these may have been in their different houses, or I'm not sure where I got those. But anyways, I have a ton of scraps left over from the Peacock Journal. There's some fabric too. I don't know, I might use that. We'll see. And so what I thought I would do is, try to use some of these scraps up and put them in here, and it'll be a nice little reminder too as I go back through and look at the different scraps. It'll be a nice reminder of the Peacock Journal. So yeah, that's what my plan is today. Some of them may not be big enough, and so I'm going to try to start with ones that are going to be big enough, and then I'll fill in the other places too. So anyways, that's the plan today, and I hope everyone's had a good day. I hope I'm filming this on a Friday, so I hope you're having a Friday, as they say. That's what I text my grandkids on Friday. Friday, exclamation point, and then they text back, yay, which is super fun. If you're a parent or grandparent, getting a fun text from the child is, I don't know, I just think, they have so much going on, and that they take the time to even respond. I'm just so tickled. So, and I love to know what's going on in their lives. I just love it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm, again, just going to tear, before, I had pre-torn some, but I've been so busy trying to, get the Peacock Journal finished, and it's nearly done. Really, all I need to do is just decide on a closure, and I think what I'm going to do with that is simply have a tie closure so that it can grow as the recipient wants to add things, and it becomes bulky and that sort of thing. But I have some really pretty velvet in the right color. I have some pretty velvet ribbon, I guess you could call it ribbon, and I really think I'm going to use that. But on the other hand, I think some pretty sari silk would be neat too. So all right, so let's go ahead and get these down. That'll give us a start. I can't remember, and I'm sorry, I can't remember where this digital came from. My plan, loosely, is to go back to my Etsy purchases and try to list where I purchased all of the digitals that I used in the Peacock Journal. I like this because I can flip it any which way. Typically, just for the pleasing of the eye, I usually use 3 of everything, but I might use more. That one's looks like it's going to be a little short. That one will work. So I'm going to put that 4th one over to the side, and I might pick it back up if I need it. Let's see. How about right here? So it's been a kind of a quiet day here on the home front. Joey is feeling the wear and tear of, you know, being home for so long, not being able to do too much, and that's really hard on him because he's pretty active. Even when before the hip surgery, he probably overdid a lot, but because he is so active, and he's used to being very athletic. He, you know, up until the last couple of years when his hip was just so bad, played hockey every week, and of course practiced. And so he misses all of his workouts and things, and so he'll get back to it. But today I think it's kind of wearing on him that, you know, he still has several weeks before he can lift and, you know, move and just do everything his mind wants to do. You know, right now his body is dictating really what he can do, and there's not a lot you can do as far as mind over matter at this point, because you have to be so careful, you know, during this recovery time. So anyway, so it's a beautiful day here, so maybe we will go sit outside and have lunch. Maybe I'll recommend that, you know, sometimes just getting outside is what's needed to, you know, for the soul. So maybe that's what we'll do. And maybe we'll even find a good movie. I'm wanting to start my Kathy Holden journal, and I think my plan is to make the cover a slow stitch cover, and so that'll be nice to sit out there with him and you know, stitch on that. I have to kind of, with stitching, I have to kind of pace myself, because this part of my hand, both hands gripping, hurts sometimes. And you know, when you sew, you're holding your fabric and you're using that part, those muscles in there, and it's very painful sometimes. So I have to pace myself with that. But I can do a little at a time, and that's probably what I'll be doing, little at a time. And I'm also, this Kathy Holden journal that I want to make is going to also be paper. It's going to be a little bit like my lace journal in the sense that it has paper and fabric, textiles, and things like that. So that'll be nice to get that started. I also have another project that I want to do with her papers, and I want to do that right away because I want to use what I'm going to make. So I'll do that also on video so you can see it. This is a little bit thicker. This is that wallpaper paper, I want to say, and I think, I'm not for sure because it wasn't in its appropriate place, but I think it might be a Tim Holtz. And I don't know if I'm going to have 3 of these, which is okay. I mean, that's just kind of an eye-pleasing thing to have 3, or odd things, you know, odd numbers. I'm also getting ready to do my spring vignettes around the house, little spring displays. I have a bunny collection. When I say that, it's not like I don't even know what it sounds like. There's no stuffed animals. I'm not a stuffed animal girl. But I have little concrete bunnies, and I have, let's see, mostly concrete, but there are a few thicker resin bunnies, and then I have some other vintage spring things I like to set around. I have some vintage flower pots and wagon and little sweet little chicks. Did I cut that too short? I did. But we're going to use it anyways. Yeah, I have these little concrete chicks that are adorable. And then I have some, I have some concrete chicks that I keep out in my mud room, and they're white, and my house primarily is white, cottage white, and all colors of white, from chocolate brown to stark white. So, but mainly white. And so I have in our mud room. I must have really cut that short. I think it's supposed to go this way. In our mud room, I have these little white ducks. They're probably about 6 inches high, maybe 7 inches high, and they have the angriest of faces on them. And it's, you know, it kind of cracked me up because it reminds me of, you know, how when a child, because they're super cute little chubby ducks, but they have that angry face. So you know how when a child gets cranky and they're super cute, but they're you know, they're mad about something and it's just kind of funny. That's what they remind me of. They're just little angry ducks. All right, so this is where I think I can make up for that one. So I'll put that out, and then I also have a wonderful a vintage Easter candy box. It's in the shape of an egg, and it's a lavender silk or satin. It's old. It has a really cute little floral, kind of a little floral bouquet type of thing on it. It's really sweet. So I'll get that out. And I've already packed up my Valentine stuff, my vintage Valentine stuff, but I have to take it up to the attic. So when I go up there, I'll find my Easter business and bring it down and get it going, get it all put out. The good thing about my vintage spring stuff is it'll last quite a while as a display, whereas, you know, Valentine's doesn't last that long. So we don't do anything for St. Patrick, so I don't have a lot of green St. Patrick's-y stuff. But let's see. I do change out the pillow cases out on our porches. We have 3 porches. I really only put things out on 2 of them. One of them is a really nice sized porch, but it's off of our bedroom. It's the one that I can see, like, as I lay in bed drinking coffee, looking at the deer and the turkeys and all the birds that Joey feeds. But I really only put stuff on that one when we have guests over that are going to sit back there and look out and watch the deer. Then we have a really nice porch in the front yard, you know, at the front when you walk into the house, and another little porch that walks into the mudroom. And I always put stuff there because there's parking there and you can see it. And you can sit there and take your boots off. So I put a few little pillows there. All right, well, we're coming along. What else do I have here? I got out other papers too, not just the ones that we used. This one you may remember is one that I made. I just took a copy of some ribbon and stuff. And then there were a few that didn't turn out the way I wanted them to. So I used them just to do stuff like this. Now let's see, that's going to make too much just blue. Let's see if we can, let's cut this down a little bit. Where do I want that? It's almost lunchtime and my stomach is feeling it, and today I think I'm just going to make some really nice sandwiches. And last night I made an Italian style dinner, and it was a very easy dinner, and it was super delish. And basically what I did was I just used frozen, frozen, oh good grief, what are they called? Not ravioli. The little round ones full of stuff, and this was cheese filled. It'll come to me. I say that every time. It doesn't come to me till the next video. Oh my goodness, I don't know. Well, anyways, I had those, and then what I did was I put on top of it, I cooked up ground Italian pork, Italian sausage. So I cooked that really well and drained, and then what I did was I poured in a can of 4-cheese spaghetti sauce, and then I added about a 1/3 block of cream cheese, and about, you know me and my measuring, and then about half a cup of Parmesan cheese, like grated Parmesan cheese. Cooked that up, turned out delish, very rich. So take it from me, you do not need much. You know, usually you slather your pasta with the sauce. That's really not the case with this. You do not need much because it was so rich. It would be nice with a salad, but I didn't have any lettuce or anything. So I did mozzarella sticks. I called that our salad. So anyways, it was really good. We were both just aching practically afterwards. I couldn't finish all my spaghetti, all my sauce, because it was just so rich. I couldn't do it. All right, there's a few more of those. I don't know if I'll keep all of those scraps or not that I just made, because some of them are just, you know, white, doesn't really have any. Now let's see, did I cut that this way? I don't know what my problem is. I keep cutting them a little bit short. And let's see what else is happening. I think one of Joey's friends called Joe and wants to bring dinner over this weekend, which is just very thoughtful, and come over and chit chat. And I gotta tell you, it's gonna be so nice for Joe to have one of his buddies over here to yik yak with, talk about all that stuff that I don't know anything about, or you know, that I don't really talk about. You know, it'll be so nice for him to have that. How about up here? No, I try not to put him on the same line as the other. I was thinking everything's looking kind of bluish and green, but that stands to reason since it was from the Peacock Journal. Ooh, I might be able to get one out of that. This one I may have to just tear, which is okay. So anyways, yeah, looking forward to that. For them to come over Sunday and have a little, for Joe to have a little time with his bud. And I'm running out of things, entertainment things, because Joe does do some crafting. He does some models, and he makes, he'll take a model and then he'll customize it, you know, and things like that, paint them and everything, and it's very impressive. But it's really, he can't really get in he can't really get in the studio and do that with his walker and all that. And to be frank, his focus, his attention span, I guess I should say, is waning right now. And if you've ever, not felt well or had a constant chronic pain, you know what that's like. So he's still in pain and discomfort, and so it's hard for him to focus for any length of time. So he doesn't feel like really doing that right now, but he'll get back to it. He'll get back to it. I think I'll leave that one like that. Okay, those are going to be good. Anyways, so it's another beautiful day here, and we're just gonna do our normal goofing. I've got laundry to do. I like to get as much done before Friday's over. So anything that comes our way on the weekend, we're ready to roll. Ready to roll. And I told Joey I would, if he felt up to it, I'd take him up to the park and walk around, because where we live, we live on acreage and the ground is very uneven, unstable, as well as we also have gravel. And so that can be really, it's hard enough to walk with a walker, I think, but to then walk over uneven surfaces and gravel, that's even worse. So thought maybe we'd go up to, we have a park right up the street, which, once you get to town, it's pretty close. Very close. Could actually walk to it, but it's a couple of miles, walking wise. And so I have this. I don't really like that point. Could put that down. So maybe I'll do that once I get this other square done. We'll keep that handy. Let's find something for that other square. I loved this digital. I just loved it. I can't remember which one it came from, but I really, really loved it. So I'm going to just square this off a little bit more. So today is my niece's birthday, so happy birthday, Nicole. I love you, honey. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. A beautiful soul. And she is such a fun mama. I love seeing on Facebook and hearing about the things that her and her daughter do. They're just such fun, fun, fun. So anyways, it's her birthday. And so beautiful day to you, Nicole. Alright, so that'll go there. I don't usually plan this out, but since this one's an odd shape, I wanted to put something behind it, so we'll go that there. And then let's see if I can fit one more out of this scrap. Okay. Well, we're almost there. We're almost done. Now let's see. I kind of feel like maybe I'll put the flowers up here. And let's see. Will that take up 2 squares? Almost 2 squares. So maybe I'll use it that way. But I haven't really left 2 squares where I don't want them to be too close to this, but I guess that's our option right there. Let's do it. And I gotta tell you, birthday cake sounds really good right about now. I forgot to ask her what kind of cake she's gonna have. My go-to, any kind of like birthday cake is, or celebratory cake, my go-to is just, I always say, just bring me a wedding cake. I love the vanilla, rich vanilla with that white icing. I love that. It's my favorite. But I love chocolate cake with really thick fudge chocolate icing. Let's see, was that going to fit? Yeah, that'll be all right. Try to pull that white off. But I like almost any kind of cake. Almost any kind of cake. For some reason, I'm not keen on red velvet cake. My husband and I have been watching this baking show where there's a lot of cake making, and one of their, I think that'll fit there. One of their challenges was to make a red velvet cake. And I've just never been a fan. Joey likes it though. So that's one. Now this paper is a little bit crooked, so I don't know if I'll get more than the one off of it. But I think it's going to be a nice addition for sure. Yeah, maybe one more. Another thing on this baking, I think it's the British baking contest, something, I can't remember the name of it, is they were doing like a meringue. Now, I love lemon, and I love lemon pie. I love lemon cake. I love lemon desserts. I love lemon, but I do not like meringue. So I always, like if I ever have a meringue, I try to, you know, like if I'm somewhere and I get a lemon meringue, like let's say that's what's being served. Like I can't remember when that would have happened, but it has. I flip that thing, that piece of pie over on its side, and I just peel back that meringue. Can't take it. I think it's absolutely beautiful though. And I have made meringue, and it's a lot of fun to make, I think. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's my meringue that I don't like. Well, let's see here. What other scraps do I have? I feel like I'm almost running out of scraps that I used. I guess we have some of these different dyed ones that we used. I don't know if I can get a whole one out of that or not. Yeah, maybe. Lots of little teeny tiny scraps. Here's a scrap, couple of scraps from, remember when we did the, not the embossing, that's the word I couldn't think of the other day. But we did the splatter, and we used the texture paste, brother. Can't think of, oops, sorry. Can't think of it, a word. Let's do this. I think that'll be fun to put a couple of these in here. That's a little tough to tear. Yowza. Is there another one that has maybe something different on it? I'm digging through all my scraps here. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh, there's another one of those. I thought I had another one of those scraps that had the texture paste that I was thinking maybe it would have a different design or something. But we'll just use this. Maybe put one here. Okay, so yeah, get that down. It's a little bit thicker, but I think I've done like cardstock before on one of the other pages. I'm going to need just a little something to put right there, something fun. Somebody had asked me in the comments about where I found these time cards, and it definitely is something, I don't know. Honestly, I guess people are still using them because they're still available, but I bought these. I either bought them at the office supply store or I bought them online. But I feel like, and they're still available, but I feel like they were from Office Depot maybe. Now, if you go on Etsy or eBay or whatever, you can probably find some vintage ones, which are super fun. I've seen some on Etsy. They're super fun looking. You know, they're different. Man, I'm happy to get rid of some of these scraps off the desk. And this is going to be such a fun reminder of the Peacock Journal, etc. So anyways, there's all kinds of different time cards, based off whatever the time card machine is. But anyways, the person that mentioned it, I can't remember who it was, but said, she said, I can still remember the sound of clocking in. Oh, I can remember it too. I can remember I used to work at a hospital here in town. I think I'm going to put some right here. And I can remember we had to park so far out. And I was always afraid of being late. And I can remember running all the way in, run past where I worked, where my office was. I worked in the office. And run over to the time card machine, down an aisle, down a hallway, because, you didn't want it to be out and about where patients and visitors would see it. And find your time card, hope that nobody had moved it, punch in, run as fast as you can to your office and get situated before, whatever the time was, because you always had to clock in ahead of time. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And I'm not gonna lie, I was late twice at this job, and it did not go over well with my manager. That was so long ago. I was probably, 19 and 20 is when I worked there. That was a long time ago. I actually was let go from that. Yeah, I was let go from that place because I worked in the business office, and so we handled all the money that came through the hospital, and it was kind of a fun job, actually. Got to, chat with patients and different areas in the hospital that, had money, like the gift shop and the cafeteria and stuff. Well, this particular hospital that I worked at had a, it had the main cafeteria, and then it had a small cafeteria for a specific group of inpatients. They had their own little cafeteria. Well, now this is, okay, let's see, I would have been 20, so it's like almost 40 years ago. So you have to kind of remember what technology was like back then. So when the big cafeteria would bring their money, they would have receipt, or like one long receipt that would show, hey, this is how much money needs, this is how much money, oops, sorry, that we brought in today. And then you would just count the money, and it had to add up to the receipt, which is fine. Never a problem. Well, this little one didn't have that kind of a system, because it was more like a cash drawer type of thing. And so it was basically the cashier would write down how much it should be in there, and then bring you the cash, and then you just had to match it up, and typically it matched up. And well, one day it didn't match up, and so I called him. I'm like, hey, you're $10, exactly $10 off. No, we don't have it. We did it, it's right, whatever it is. So I redid. I moved all the furniture, thinking, well, did it drop? I don't know. Did it drop? So anyways, I couldn't find it. I was a panic. I thought, oh my gosh, and, here I am, 20 years old, and I didn't even have $10 in my purse. That's how, not only it probably being 20, but that's just how broke I was at the time. I didn't have cash. And this was way before debit cards or anything like that. You either had cash or you had a check. And I kind of think you had to pay for every check you used. So I was on a cash-only girl type of thing. Well, anyways, so I had to call my boss. This was a weekend too. I had to call my boss and say, hey, we're $10 short. We can't find it. They believe that their figures are right, the whole thing. And so all this to say, because I had missed 2 days, or I had been late 2 days, not 2 days in a row, but just in general, I had, oh, and one thing I forgot to tell you, I was still within my 90 days. So I'd only been there like, I don't know, 70 days to like 2.5 months. And so because of that, hey, I kind of like how that looks. Let's see, does this side look prettier? No, I like this side. Anyways, so because I'd only been there like 2.5 months, I was still within my 90 days. I had 2 lates. I was late 2 days. Which, when I say late, I mean late is late. Late is late. But I'm not talking like an hour or anything like that. I'm talking 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. But, late is late. And so because I was late, and then I had this third occurrence where the money didn't turn up, they let me go. And I was heartbroken because, here I was 20 years old, and the job was so good, and the benefits were so great, and I was a young mama and trying to do, good for my baby, and I was devastated, but it did also kick into gear for me to do something that I always wanted to do, which was be a hairdresser. Ever since I'd been a little girl, I wanted to be a hairdresser, or what I called a beautician. Back then, it was called a beautician. And so that's what I wanted to do. And so that jump-started me to go and, I think that's going to be pretty there, to go to school for that. And I had a very successful career doing that for a little over 10 years. And maybe someday we'll talk about that, and I'll give you some hair tips. If you saw my hair, you'd be like, no thanks. But anyway, I do have tips, even though, my hair doesn't represent it well. But, so yeah, so that was, so I kind of panic when I think I'm going to be late. Now, I say that, and, you know, Joey would say, I don't remember seeing you panic and you're late all the time. Well, maybe I have gotten a little bit eased up on being a panic about it. Depends, I guess, on what it is. You know, if it's an appointment, yeah, I don't want to be late. But if it's something I say, let's have lunch in 20 minutes and it's 30 minutes, I don't usually have any problem with it, you know. So anyways, yeah, there is a little bit of my work history for you. About 40 years ago would have been, let's see, I would have been 19. I said 20, but I would have been 19. And so yeah, 40 years ago. And it was devastating. It taught me a big lesson. It taught me that sometimes people want to do great things for you. They want to give you a break, and it's just not it's just not part of their power to do that. So my boss loved me. We both cried when she fired me, and but it just wasn't within her power to do anything different than that. So is that going to fit? No, that I don't even have a space, but we'll keep that out. Maybe do something with it. I'm looking for something specific for there. Oh, here's a little teeny flower tine. That will be very pretty there. Let's do it. All right. And now all these years later, I can still remember that like it was yesterday. And I remember picking up, you know, pulling up my straps and moving on. And that is how life works. Things happen, and then you just, how about that? Wouldn't that be pretty? And then you just pull up your bootstraps and you just keep going on. And that is how life moves. Or does that look better? All right. I'll finish it off camera. Got to find some strips, go make Joey some lunch, find a movie to watch, and pull out some of my Kathy Holden fabric and start on my slow stitch. I might just get the fabric done today, pulling it out. Anyways, thanks everybody for hanging out with me and all my stories and stuff. Don't forget to subscribe and share, and we love you. Blessings to everyone. Bye-bye.